This is the Vsb Tv 11 News for Wednesday, February 19th. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story, flanked by 9 somber-faced ministers and staff members, Premier Craig Cannonier delivered a statement to the people of Bermuda at lunchtime today, in which he announced he would be suing opposition leader Mark Bean and Shadow Finance Minister David Burt for slander. The 5-minute statement spoke of the damage that the firestorm of distorted claims and inflammatory comments were causing Bermuda, both at home and abroad, leaving him with no choice but to exercise his legal rights. Here is a portion of his statement.
Over the past few days, the island has witnessed a firestorm of headlines fueled by profoundly distorted claims and inflammatory comments. The impact of these attacks is undermining the national effort Bermuda needs to solve the big problems that confront all of us here. While it has been troubling for us as individuals, what has been more alarming to me as your Premier is the potential damage to the island's reputation, which is something that must be preserved and strengthened. Bermuda, we are in a constant battle for survival with the competing jurisdictions who are vying for the same investment that we are. But we are now being challenged to wage war amongst ourselves because of a series of orchestrated political attacks. As your Premier, I will not allow the country to be dragged any further into the politics of division and destruction, because it threatens the island's integrity and our economic recovery. This is not a game. There is too much at stake. Where we are right now is not good for any of us. It can't be good for the families of the opposition leader or that of the Shadow Finance Minister. It certainly is not good for my family, my Bermuda family. And now, concerning the recent accusations, I hoped it would not come to this, but I will close by making the following statement. In view of the reckless allegations that have been made by opposition leader and Shadow Finance Minister, which I view to be extremely dangerous and potentially damaging to all of us, I see no other option but to enforce my legal rights against both men and to seek full damages through the courts for slander. Bermuda, this is now a legal matter. Thank you. I have no further comment.
The ferry service will be withdrawn tomorrow by the unionized members of the Marine and Ports, and they will not be going back until they receive answers about the total collapse of the ferry maintenance program over the past 3 years. Chris Ferbert, president of the BIU, said that the minister could not say that he had not been warned. But the really chilling part of the press conference was delivered by Division President Sinclair Robinson when asked how things stood as the high season approached.
The workers met at 12 o'clock today, and I can tell you that as a result of the lack of little progress that has been made on all these outstanding issues, I have decided as of tomorrow, there will be no ferriage money. So they will leave her today to go take all the commuters home, the regular ones, whatever time they start at 4 o'clock, right along through to whatever the regular scheduled time is. So you'll be able to get a ferry right up until the end, but as of tomorrow morning, there will be no ferries.
Is there anything in the agreement that you have with the government that requires prior notice of withdrawal of services?
Well, let me just say this, Mr. Darby, that I think 3 years is enough notice. And some people might probably think I'm being a bit facetious, but you know, every year we have this problem when it comes to getting the fleet up and coming for the season, right? And the workers have to do a lot of backflips to make sure that they can provide a service that's second to none for the seasons. It's happened now for 3 years. We've talked to them about the maintenance of the vessels. The minister gave an undertaking that one of the reasons why he was going to bring the Millennium Ferry in her And he did say that the cost of that was going to cost roughly about $1.2 million. And of course, whilst the Millennium Fair was here for last season, the intention was to get our fleet up and running. Well, I can tell you that has not happened.
Back in 2011 and 12, maintenance programs had ceased. We also worked a whole year with no overtime. That whole year, the fleet went without maintenance. So as you know, without maintenance in such vessels as that, you have some major issues after that particular year. And going forward, maintenance program is now supposed to be reinstalled as of probably this season coming. So a regular maintenance schedule has not been adhered to.
And there is some danger attached to vehicles of this nature with the public, isn't there?
Sure, there always can be. They're on the water. Sure.
If you continue the way things are going, will the fleet break down?
Sir, to be honest with you, and anyone in this room could tell you, I would say more than half of our fleet is right now inoperational.
In a rather unusual set of circumstances, an independent freelance journalist, Io Johnson, was initially barred from entering the press conference the Premier held this morning at the Cabinet building. Vsb News' Julia Smet has more.
Freelance independent journalist and former political reporter Io Johnson stood outside the press conference room baffled as a uniformed guard refused to let him through the doorway that led to the press conference being held by Premier Craig Cannonier. A clearly frustrated Mr. Johnson then addressed government officials and the guard and asked them why he was being denied entry. Mr. Johnson asked them if they knew what the country's constitution stated in regards to the press, to which the guard allegedly said he had not read the Constitution lately. Other members of the media were prepared to not participate in the press conference until Mr. Johnson was allowed entry. However, some media outlets, such as Vsb News, chose not to get involved in the dispute. Mr. Johnson said in regards to why he was barred from entering was due to the fact that his name was not on an approved list of people attending. However, he pointed out that no other media outlets had written clearance to attend the press event. As the situation unfolded, Vsb News reported live on the radio that the press conference was being held up due to Mr. Johnson being denied entry. At about 15 minutes after the scheduled start time, government officials eventually decided to allow Mr. Johnson to enter the press conference, and subsequently the press event commenced. Mr. Johnson said that his main issue with being denied access was the issue of freedom of speech, something he says is outlined in Bermuda's Constitution. I'm Julia Smat, reporting for Vsb News.
Minister of Home Affairs, Senator Michael Fay, said today, in an effort to streamline processes making it easier for persons to travel to Bermuda, the Department of Immigration is removing the requirement for Bermuda entry visas and visa waivers for all persons who plan to come to Bermuda as a tourist or business visitor or as a work permit holder. The effective date for the changes will be March 1st, 2014. The Department of Immigration will be formally notifying its industry partners, including Government House, the airlines, and employers, by February 21st, 2014. Removing the requirement for Bermuda entry visas and visa waivers is another step in the right direction. Not only does it allow the Department of Immigration to give focused attention on other applications, it also is a strong indicator that Bermuda is open for business. Still ahead on the TV 11 News, Coldwell Banker prepares for its 12th annual home show at Cedar Bridge. But next is Rachel with the weather preview.
Thanks, Peter. Mostly fair conditions persist through Saturday. On the radar, not much activity, going to be a dry night, but please stay tuned for the full weather report coming up later.
The weather radar picture provided courtesy of the Ministry of Transport on Vsb TV 11.
Save $2 on juicy red seedless grapes, just $2.99 per pound. Roast a fresh certified Angus beef top round roast for Sunday dinner, $5.99 per pound. Mott's mini fruit punch or apple juice, $1.99 for a 4-pack. Save $1.19 on a 9-ounce box of Steak-'em sliced steaks, just $3.99. Great for lunch is geisha white meat tuna and water, $2.79 for a 7-ounce tin. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more super specials.
It's our fantastic February savings event going on now. We have something for every room of your home and incredible savings all month long. Browse around our site to find exactly what you're looking for. New styles, new colors, a new look for your home. We have a huge selection of beautiful furniture and amazing prices that won't last long. So stop in today. You won't want to miss our fantastic February savings event going on now.
Bermuda is an easy way to find great discounts while discovering fun activities to do in Bermuda.
Discover the best spas, restaurants, activities, services, and shops at 50% off.
Sign up to Bermuda and start saving today.
The Bermuda Police Service handed over a check this morning for the sizable amount of almost $17,000 to the Bermuda Hospitals Charitable Trust. Police Commissioner Michael De Silva said since the service has almost 600 employees, he felt that with a unified approach they could fundraise and help a local charity. Mr. De Silva described how the police went about raising funds and said he was pleased to be able to hand funds over to the Bermuda Hospitals Charitable Trust.
Clearly, every community needs a first-class healthcare facility, and it was a simple decision for us to make the Bermuda Hospitals Charitable Trust our charity for the year. In fact, it's now become an annual fixture, so we will be selecting another charity for 2014. But I'm certainly pleased today to be here on behalf of my senior colleagues and all the men and women of the Bermuda Police Service to present a check in the amount of $16,764.86 to the Bermuda Hospitals Charitable Trust. Denim Days was really popular. We took advantage of the Bermuda Rugby Classic and we parked cars. We had our cadets and our recruits out there parking cars for a few dollars. We had some events at the Police Recreation Club in Prospect, and it all culminated at the Police Ball in October with another fundraising effort. So for us, it's an absolute pleasure to see how much of a difference we can make to our local charity.
Chairman of the Bermuda Hospitals Charitable Trust, Philip Butterfield, expressed his gratitude for the monies given by the Bermuda Police Service.
We are making tremendous progress toward our goal of raising $40 million. And I think today's presentation from the Bermuda Police Services speaks to the character of the police organization and speaks to their commitment to assist us all in making sure that the one hospital that we are building will be the best that we can do, and it will be supported by our entire community. So on behalf of the Charitable Trust, Commissioner, you have our heartfelt thanks.
The 12th annual home show put on by the Coldwell Banker real estate firm takes place this Friday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Cedar Bridge Academy. The event, which usually attracts over 3,000 visitors, this year has 50 booths covering an amazing variety of subjects. Rochelle Swan, who is taking part in her 12th event, and McKee Tucker, making his debut on the team, spoke to Vsb News' Brian Dobby about their pride and joy.
I've been a part of the home show since inception. I love it because there's lots of energy. There's always lots of people buzzing about, taking advantage of the opportunity to meet with the various vendors. We cover so many different aspects of home ownership. So It's an opportunity for people to get their questions answered, get fresh and new information on, all the new items that are out there and available, and also to have one-on-one conversation with the Coldwell Banker staff, because we're out and about, and then we have our various areas that we man ourselves. And so we get to speak one-on-one with the public, and that's always a good opportunity to increase our sphere of influence.
There does seem to be a growing atmosphere of confidence over real estate in the island. That's going to help, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people have been watching, a lot of people have been watching and waiting for a long time to see just what's happening out there. But we have definitely seen some increase in activity, which is very refreshing for us. Obviously, it's what we love to do, and so when we see the increase in confidence in the general public, then it just makes our job that much more enjoyable and fulfilling too.
Returning from a hiatus or new to the Home Show this year, we have Intelli Home and Office, Jeffrey & Sons Limited, Telly Bermuda, Unlimited Supplies, Invisible Fence Bermuda Limited, Lindbergh & Simmons, Skin Cerity Bermuda, Best Shipping, Vinyl Tack, Alternative Energy Systems Limited, The Irish Linen Shop, Atlas Home Improvements, Grand Care Bermuda, Collingwood Holding Limited. So that's to name a few that...
the variety there is astonishing.
It is quite a bit of variety, which is good. It's just going to be good for everybody, the people that do show up. You get, a wide range of different services and get to see what they offer and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty good.
What always challenges me and makes me feel good about your home show is that the staff do it themselves. They kind of get together, and it's on top of your average daily work, and yet no one seems to have any complaints. They like doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, they all seem to come to now. This is my first one, so I'm quite eager for it to be there.
Now, here's a look at the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. U.S. stocks fell as the International Monetary Fund warned of risks to global growth, and as Federal Reserve indicated, stimulus cuts will likely continue. U.S. stock indices retreated today after IMF's warning on the risk to global growth and as the Fed signaled future tapering. The Toronto Stock Exchange rose 0.21% to 14,107 as Canadian banks and energy stocks rallied. 2004 shares of Bank of Butterfield traded today. The stock was unchanged on the day at $1.75. Summers Limited was unchanged on the day with 7,000 shares trading hands. BF&M dropped 0.06% to $16.65. 2,700 shares were traded. UK stocks were unchanged on the day as investors weighed on the news that unemployment in the UK unexpectedly rose. The CAC 40 rose 0.24% to 4,341. China's stocks rose as energy companies rallied and investors speculated smaller banks will form alliances to expand their businesses. The Hang Seng advanced 0.34% to 22,665. Most Latin American indices retreated today. The Argentina Merval dropped 2.24% to 5,957. The Mexican Bolsa decreased 0.98% to 40,024. U.S. Treasury yields rose as minutes of the Federal Reserve meeting signaled that stimulus cuts will likely continue. The U.S. 10-year yield rose 2 basis points to 2.73%. The Canadian dollar fell versus major currencies as wholesale trade sales missed estimates. The Canadian dollar declined 0.24% versus the U.S. dollar to 1.11%. That was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. There's more news after the break.
The Dollar Depots are your one-stop shop for your party and entertaining essentials. Bags, balloons, bows, decorations, and invitations for all themes and occasions. party favors, gifts and toys, piñatas, games and candy for any celebration. Fun and colorful accessories and supplies to create and cater the perfect party or family and friends gathering. Let Dollar Depot make your entertaining easy and your party pop. Visit Monday through Saturday in Hamilton, Heron Bay, Shelley Bay, and Somerset. Dollar Depot, where you buy value for less.
Hi, I'm Diane Carlson. I'll be broadcasting live from the Coldwell Banker Bermuda Realty Home Show at Cedar Bridge Academy on Saturday between 10 a.m. and 12 noon during the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 on Mix 106 FM. Stop by and say hello.
With the recent reorganization of ministries, the Post Office now comes under the Ministry of National Security. And today, flanked by Postmaster General Wayne Smith, the Minister, Michael Dunkley, is already looking at ways to improve the operation.
When the ministries were reorganized a few weeks ago, it was very clear to us that as we look to be more effective and efficient in doing things in government, that we could also be more effective and efficient in how the ministries were allocated. And we were always clear that it would be important to have a Ministry of National Security that also focused in on border control. And Post Office was under the Ministry of Finance, and that was all well and good, but we thought we could make it more effective if we brought into the Ministry of National Security, because it does have a border control aspect, and we're trying to tie in all those pieces together. And at the same time as we do that, I think the ministry has a good record of being very capable and efficient what they do, and certainly look forward to the opportunity to work with the Postmaster General here to look at some of the SAGE Committee recommendations, but look to make sure the Post Office is at the cutting edge of what we need to do in Bermuda. And I'm pleased to see that in my short time, the Postmaster General he already had a paper prepared for me before we even managed to speak to him. So he's very progressive, and I look forward to working with him.
In celebration of Black History Month, the Defunts Broadcasting Company Limited is proud to present films acknowledging the contributions made by black people throughout the world. See these historic films at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays during Black History Month. On Vsb Tv 11, sponsored by Belco, Lindo's, Gibbons Company, Bermuda Bistro, Caesar's Pharmacy and Sports R Us.
There are only 4 matches remaining in the BFA Premier League season, and only 4 points separating the top 5 teams. The 4th and 5th place teams, the Rams and Cougars, played to an exciting 1-1 tie on Monday night. The Rams now travel to take on league leaders Somerset Trojans this Saturday night. We spoke to Rams head coach Ralph Gumbo Bean Jr. about his last outing and future matches.
It was interesting all throughout the whole match. As always, a derby, I expected it to be a tough one, a tight one. And, you know, we would have liked to get 3 points, but a point was, I guess, better than none.
Yeah. What do you think about, like, 4 or 5 teams up there with, like, 4 points separating you guys going into the home stretch?
I think it's interesting. It's interesting and exciting. And to be quite honest with you, that's the case on both ends. It's tight at the bottom and it's tight at the top, so it means that every game is going to be played hard throughout the rest of the season, because everybody needs those points.
You have a big match against the league leaders coming up.
Yeah, Somerset on Saturday. So this week was important for us because we had Cougars and Somerset back-to-back all in 1 week. You know, again, we're going there. You know, Somerset's going to be a difficult place to go. They're doing really well this season, and we're looking to see what we can do.
Where's that match being played to?
In Somerset.
Ah, you're going into Silver City.
Yeah, well, that's what it's been called before.
Yeah.
Hopefully it don't turn into that anytime soon.
Right. What about the remainder? There's 4 matches remaining. How's the schedule go for you?
As I believe we have Somerset, then I think PHC, Parish, and then Wolves is our last game.
What do you think about that? I mean, PHC and Wolves, Wolves is actually in trouble down there. They're going to be fighting hard too.
There's no games that you can, there aren't any games that you can take for granted, and the league has showed us that already. The entire season, people have just been taking points and dropping points where we didn't expect it, so can't take any game lightly. Every game's a cup final right now.
What about injuries? I mean, any injuries, or are you looking and going into this full slate, full strength?
We'll have a couple players that weren't available to us on Monday night. Jamaica Jennings wasn't available, and there's 1 or 2 other players, so we're actually a little bit stronger than we were on Monday.
Okay, so Gumbo Jr., how would you rate your chances of the Rams winning the title, the league title?
It's just as good as how we play. Yeah, it's about 5 teams. As long as we play well and stay consistent, I think we have a good chance.
In other matches this Sunday, the Onions host the Hornets, Wolves are at home against the Rangers, the Zebras entertain the Cougars, while the Warriors host the Hot Peppers. The weather report is next, after the break.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's VSB weather forecast. Our weather shot is brought to us by Brendan Stones, taken early this morning in Warwick. Beautiful, very serene shot, sort of shades of blue and peach. Harbor, again, absolutely flat, calm, beautiful morning to kick off. Actually quite a nice day, a couple of clouds in the sky, but nice blue skies today. Thank you, Brendan. Temperatures for today, we had a high of 69 at 1 in the afternoon and a low of 62 at 8 in the morning. Current conditions, 65 degrees, humidity 65%. Winds are blowing out of the south-southeast 10 knots, and barometric pressure is steady at 30.27 inches. Rainfall index for the month of February, 4.74 for a yearly total of 10.97. Yearly normal for this time is 8.70 inches. And looking at the satellite, as the ridge of high pressure over the area holds a weak boundary to our north, mainly fair conditions with light to moderate winds will continue through Saturday. Another cold front will stall to our north on Sunday, bringing moderate winds and a chance of a few showers. And looking at the gateway cities, Atlanta mostly cloudy, 75, Boston mostly cloudy, 43, Charlotte 69 and mostly cloudy, London 52 and rain, Miami mostly cloudy, 83, New York mostly cloudy, 47, Orlando 84, partly cloudy, Philadelphia 47, partly cloudy, Toronto 32, mostly cloudy, and Washington 51 and mostly cloudy. And back at home tonight, partly to occasionally mostly cloudy skies, low near 63, wind southeast 10 to 50 knots, and then sort of veering backing southwest overnight. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with a passing shower or two later, high near 70, winds blowing out of the southwest 10 to 15 knots, and then veering westerly 5 to 10 knots, and then becoming light and variable overnight. Marine tonight, no warning, seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet, seas outside the reef 3 to 6 feet, sea surface temperature is 68 degrees. And marine tomorrow, seas inside the reef 0 to 1 foot, seas outside the reef 3 to 5 feet, low tide will be at 5:34 in the morning, and high tide will be at 11:28 in the morning. And looking at the 5-day forecast, Friday, mostly sunny, high near 70. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, the high near 71. Sunday, sunny breaks with a few showers, high near 70. And Monday, mostly cloudy, a few showers with a high near 71. Thank you to Fred Briley, our meteorologist for tonight, and everyone at the Bermuda Weather Service. I'm Rachel Sawden. Have a great evening.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll look forward to your company tomorrow night. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Wardrobe and makeup for Rachel Sawden, provided by Gibbons Company.
Vsb TV 11, Bermuda.